I'm Neziswa Figlan, and this is my voice. Hear it loud, and hear it bellow from South Africa. I'm young, and I'm a learner. Here are the voices of learners, of youth, of South Africa. Transcending voices from communities, cities, and countries. Here are voices in unison. Here are voices striving for change, and here are voices of peace. But more specifically, what is voice? What is learner voice? For me, learner voice is the involvement of learners and potential learners in shaping the learning opportunities that are available to them. Learner voice is the perspectives, ideas, experiences, ideas of said, and actions of young people. A voice that does not draw on other voices but listens and is diverse and inclusive. Learner voice is Ubuntu. I am because they are. Voice matters. The demand to be able to speak out honestly and without fear, to be listened and taken seriously as an individual and as a person. A diverse combination of voices is a key element for a safer and free society. 36 years ago, June 16, 1976, there are voices. I can still hear them. Young Soweto school children were using their voices to defy oppressive apartheid system and to bring about change. Change that changed the course of South Africa. And through all their determination, I am now a free person. And this is one of many examples of how voice can be used to bring change in our societies. But sometimes finding a voice can be very difficult. Many youth from disadvantaged communities such as Ekhayelitsha, the township where I come from, don't have the adequate resources or support to express themselves, and their voices are often suppressed or even lost. But I'm a delegate. I'm an activist of an organization that is changing that. An organization that is called Ilizwi, empowering youth through photography. Ilizwi, a Xhosa word which means voice, uses photography to empower youth to express themselves, to defy teenage apathy, and to take actions to change their communities, South Africa, and the world. Through Ilizwi, through photography, we are able to shift our mindset and think of possible solutions on how to reach peace. And peace, okay, Onele Mahlangeni, a 19-year-old Ilizwi photographer, says, peace is trying to understand our impact on the spaces around us. He says peace is trying. If we could all try, perhaps we could do better. And where there is peace, there's always a way. Ilizwi encourages youth to tell multidimensional stories. I feel youth should use their learner voice to engage fully to each other and their communities, to be aware and open to varying perspectives, narratives. A certain sense of peace lies within this. A Nigerian author, Ms. Chimamanda Adichie, once said, I found it very impossible to engage fully or properly with a place or a person without knowing all the stories of that place or that person. And the consequences of a single story are this: it robs people of dignity, and it emphasizes more on our differences rather than our similarities. Youth are labeled over and over again as ticking time bombs, but through organizations such as Ilizwi and Enke, we are able to shift. I'm able to realize that this isn't true. Mr. Greg Nicholson, a famous journalist from Daily Maverick, says, we youth don't have all the answers. whatever generation. But if we could step out of the system that governs us and challenge the blueprint that condemning many of our friends at a life of few opportunities, perhaps we could do more. There's a reason for rebelling. It holds change, and we youth should challenge the status quo. You've all heard my voice. You heard it loud, and you heard it rebelling from South Africa. Please, as South Africans, please hear our voices. Hear all the voices of youth, of learners rebelling, and hear our voice in unison, and hear our voice united. But what is your voice? Let's hear it. Let's hear it loud. Voices that striving for change. Voices of peace. Thank you.
My name is Dalile. I'm 14 years old, originally from Syria, but I live in Dubai. So I have experienced various types of schooling, public school, private school, and now I'm homeschooled. So my story starts with a pencil and a paper. I'm a writer. From an early age, I have developed an interest in writing as a result of my parents reading books to me every day. Hearing these amazing fictional stories about dragons, fairies, or royalty families sparked the love of writing in me. I love the idea that I can create my own imaginative kingdom while writing. And technology supported this role. Technology has played a big role in how I developed as a writer. It has helped me develop my writing and reach a wider audiences. It also, for example, I set up a blog where I can get feedback from people all around the world. And that really helped me gather these diverse opinions and implement them in my writing. Another example would be my YouTube channel where I upload writing lessons I made for students, and it helped me spread my love of writing to all people around the world. So I would say technology really helped me break barriers like misspelling a word or these stuff. So since the age of 8, I've been writing short stories and poems and posting them on my blog. Then I published my first book at the age of 12 and currently in the process of publishing the second one. So I can honestly say that I've experienced every type of schooling. But with every type of schooling, I've constantly saw that the student voice was missing. It was always the teacher pouring information in the brains of students. But to me, the student voice is valuable because they are the customers of our school. They are our biggest critics. Giving them this responsibility to take action, embracing their diverse opinions, and also helping them become 21st century model learners really gives them the responsibility for their education. Student voices are vital. Their tolerance gives them the ability to be novel and innovative. Many students find inspiration where some educators might find impossibility and frustration. We as students don't see boundaries and limits. We think more outside the box because that helps us propose unique solutions and to fix problems in education. And it's not because we're not afraid to be naive or we don't think this is not going to work or I'm not qualified to do that. So listening to student voices in education will hopefully lead to a better understanding of what educators can do to help develop learning materials that will engage students, engage them in their communities, make their voices heard more. And that will help solve the world problems and hopefully lead to peace. Because as Mahatma Gandhi once said, if we are to reach real peace in this world, if we are to carry on a real war against war, we shall have to begin with the children. Students will be well-rounded when we give them the voice, when we listen to them, when we take this risk and ask for their opinions. What do they think is peace? What's their opinions in education? And since education is the father of our current societies, every opinion we have is shaped in reference to the system. So I think education, to start peace, to promote peace, we must start with the children. We must educate the children because peace starts in every classroom. Thank you.
I'm here today to tell a story. A story of a kid whose childhood was stolen away from him by the very adults that he looked up to and the very adults he trusted. Unlike many children, I had a very different upbringing. I was forced to be a child soldier from the age of 3.5 to the age of 9.5. And it's sad that as a child, I was forced to go through what I went through. But today I'm here to talk about something completely different rather than my experience of being a child soldier. With the ubiquity of social media networking and media, one would assume that genocides, child soldiers, and all these human rights violations would be a thing of the past. One would think that would be a history only learned in the classrooms. But it's sad to say that it's not. The Arab Spring is an example of what social media can do. The Arab Spring is an example of what happens when the youth stands up and said enough is enough. Again, I'm from a country that went through 10 years of civil war, in which I was forced to carry a gun. I was told to go out to kill instead of being sent to school. I was told to do drugs instead of being advised to stay away from it. And I was told to kill or be killed. Those were my choices. I come here today with a bunch of questions. What is peace? Is peace the freedom of religion? Is peace the right to a childhood? Is peace the ability to have chances, choices, and options? Or is peace a Machiavellian principle? Kill 1,000, save 1,000,000. Is peace a dream to the human race rather than a reality? I one day dream of living in a world where peace is not a dream, but a reality. A world where people coexist in peace despite the color of their skin, their religion, their race, or their beliefs. A world where people are not scared to express their opinions. A world where we can all grow up and live in peace. But what does it take to live in a peaceful world? Can we ever acquire peace? What can we do to make sure we live in a peaceful society? A world where the world lives up to its promise of never again. A world where over 300,000 children are not being used as child soldiers. A world where head of states don't kill their people in order to stay in power. A world where diplomacy is a first option rather than a last. A world where people can step outside of their little cubicles and make decisions that would affect everybody in a positive way. A world where there would be no genocides. There would be no mass killing. A world where we all sit and said we have come a long way as a human race. We have conquered and we have come and taught. A world where we're not scared. A world where we say what we believe in. And a world where we live up to the true promise. A favorite philosopher of mine, Socrates, once said, an unexamined life is not worth living. A world where people question everything. Where people make decisions not based on their personal greed or their personal gain. But a world where kids like myself are not being used in frontline battles. I have a belief that you can give a man the world and the world will crumble. Or if you give a man an education, he will rebuild that world. A world that we can rebuild, where everyone can live in peace, where everyone can express their opinions without fear of being killed or being tortured. Thank you.